Hi, welcome to section 5.4. We're on page 130, and today we're talking about direct object nouns and pronouns. So a direct object noun will receive the action of the verb directly and generally follows the verb, okay? So the example that I often use is I kick the ball. Now, I think I said earlier in the semester, in the course, that whenever we look for the verb, we're looking for the relationship that verb has with every noun in the sentence. So in this sentence, we have our verb kick. What's the relationship with I? I is the subject. I is who is doing that. So I, subject, I kick. What am I kicking? The ball. Okay, the ball is going to be my direct object, okay? My direct object. So that's what's directly receiving the action of the subject. The subject kicks the ball, okay? So in the example they give us here in the book, the direct object noun answers the question, what is Jimena reading? So Jimena is reading what? The object, okay? So the direct object generally answers the questions whom or what, okay? Now, when a direct object noun is a person or a pet, it'll be preceded by the word a. This is called the personal a, and it has no English equivalent. So that's just a rule you're going to have to learn, and there's really not anything like that in English, okay? So, Marta busca a su perro Lucas. So, Marta is my subject, busca is my verb. Who is she looking for? Her dog, Lucas. That's my direct object, and we have the personal a. Okay? Escucho al profesor. The next example. Escucho al profesor. Okay, subject is that understood yo. Escucho is my verb. I listen to the professor. Okay, that's my direct object. Okay. Direct object pronouns replace the direct object nouns. So, like in English, Spanish sometimes uses a direct object pronoun to avoid repetition. So, in the example, Maribel hace las maletas. We're going to use a direct object pronoun in order to avoid repetition. So, Maribel las hace. So, a couple things to notice here. So, I'm just showing you how this works. So, I'll do one more example. So, we say, Felipe compra el pasaje. Felipe lo compra. So what you might notice here, okay, is that we still have our subject, okay? We have a pronoun, okay, that matches in number and gender, and it's basically replacing the direct object. So this is my direct object pronoun, okay? It's replacing the direct object, okay? So like in this bottom example here, el pasaje, this is my direct object. If I want to replace it, I need to replace it like a puzzle with a piece that fits just right. So for it to fit just right, it has to match in gender and in number. So el pasaje is singular and masculine. So I want a pronoun that's also singular and masculine. That's lo. And that's what I use to replace. The other thing you'll notice is that the pronoun comes before the conjugated verb, which is compra. Okay? So let's look here at the direct object chart. So we'll have the singular forms and then the plural forms. Me, te, lo, en la, nos, los, en las. Okay, so me, of course, referring to me. Actually, let's see. Let's change our color here. Me. Te is you, singular, and the familiar. Okay. Lo can be like the you, so like usted. Or it can also be him or it. And then la can also be usted or her and it. All right. Okay. Okay. So nos is us. And then los is you, plural, or them. Or you, plural and feminine. And them, feminine. Okay? All right, so let's go to the next page. It's common to use a direct object pronoun when the direct object noun has been mentioned before. So once you already know your pronoun, it's going to be a lot easier with practice and when you see it more often. Right now you might be thinking, I have no idea what she's talking about. Basically, you want to use these pronouns to replace direct objects whenever necessary. So for example, ¿Quieres a tu madre? Let me write this out. ¿Quieres a tu madre? Sí, la quiero mucho. So here in the first sentence, ¿Quieres is my verb. ¿Quieres what? What do you love? You love your mother. That's my direct object. In the response, I could say, sí, quiero mucho a mi madre. But to avoid repetition, we replace madre with a pronoun that fits. And which one fits? Madre is singular and feminine and third person. So we're going to use la. So that's going to be our direct object pronoun. And it's going to replace madre before the conjugated verb, which is quiero. Okay? Now, in affirmative sentences and affirmative questions, direct object pronouns will generally appear before the conjugated verb. In negative sentences and negative questions, a pronoun is placed between the word no and the verb. Okay, so for example, Armando me escucha. That means Armando listens to me. Okay? Or Armando no me escucha. Notice that it still comes right before the verb, but it's between no and the verb escucha. Okay? Katia las tiene, Katia no las tiene. Same thing. It goes in between no and the conjugated verb. Okay, in the present progressive and infinitive constructions, such as ir a plus an infinitive, the direct object pronoun can be placed before the conjugated form or attached to the present participle or infinitive. So, Laura las está escribiendo or Laura está escribiéndolas, and it's attached, and you'll have to add an accent here, endolas. Okay, this is what the note is at the bottom here. Whenever you attach the pronoun to the present participle, you're going to add that accent, okay, to maintain the proper stress. So it'll be the third to last syllable. So you count 3 back from the end. So 1, 2, 3. And that's where you put the accent on that E. Escribiéndolas. Okay? So that's for the present progressive that you're going to do that. But you can also do it with the infinitive ir plus a plus infinitive structure. So lo vamos a hacer o vamos a hacerlo. Notice that when you add it here at the end of the infinitive, you do not add an accent. So no accent there. It's only for the present participle in the present progressive tense. So these are both very handy. One thing I do want to make sure to reiterate is that you add it either to the present participle, so escribiendo, or to the infinitive. You do not add it to the conjugated verb, okay? So you want to make sure that you pay attention to that. All right, so, this is going to be a little, it sounds going to be like a lot to take in. It's a very complicated structure. I really recommend you don't worry about it too much. This is the last section for this chapter and this course. So you're going to be practicing this a lot more in 102. So do the best to assimilate the information however you can right now, and then know that you'll have more time to practice it in the future. All right, so we'll conclude this lesson by doing manos a la obra. As always, you can pause the recording if you'd like to do it before, or you can follow along with me. So here we're choosing the correct response. So, número 1, ¿me puedes llevar al partido de fútbol? So, how do we answer this question? ¿Me puedes llevar al partido de fútbol? So, ¿me puedes llevar al partido de fútbol? So, if I ask you, can you take me to the football game? The answer here is, sí, te puedo llevar. B. Okay, why is it sí, te puedo llevar? Why is it that one? Because in the original question, me puedes llevar a mí. Can you take me? That pronoun me is what tells us who's going to be the pronoun in the second one. Okay? Number 2, ¿quién tiene los pasajes? Okay, ¿quién tiene los pasajes? Yo lo tengo or Mónica los tiene. Well, for here, we want to make sure we have the correct direct object pronoun. So, ¿quién tiene los pasajes? The direct object there is pasajes. So, when we replace the pronoun it should be with a pronoun that matches in number and gender. So the pronoun in the first option, lo, does not match because it's only singular. So it has to be B. Mónica los tiene. Because los matches pasajes in number and gender. Okay? Number 3. ¿Vas a llevar a tu hermana a la playa? So are you going to take your sister to the beach? No, no voy a llevarla. O no, no voy a llevarte. Well, that has to be A. No, no voy a llevarla. I'm not taking her, my sister. The second option, voy a llevarte, means I won't take you, but that's not the question. We're not asking if you're going to take me, you're asking if you're going to take your sister. Okay? Número 4. ¿Vas a hacer las maletas? Sí, voy a hacerla o sí, voy a hacerlas. And the answer is B. Voy a hacerlas. And the reason we know it's las is because it refers back to maletas, which is plural. Okay? Number 5. ¿Quién tiene la llave de nuestra habitación? Yo no la tengo o yo lo tengo. Well, here we need to make sure we use the correct direct object pronoun. What's the direct object in the first question? ¿Quién tiene la llave de nuestra habitación? Who has what? The key. So la llave is the pronoun. We want to match la llave. So we need A. Yo no la tengo. Because la refers to llave and is replacing it. Okay? Número 6. ¿Quién revisa los documentos? El inspector de aduana te revisa. El inspector de aduana los revisa. Well, the answer there is B. Los revisa. Because los refers to documentos. It's replacing it, so it needs to match in number and in gender. Okay, and last of all, we have number 7. Número 7. ¿Vamos a confirmar los pasajes en la agencia de viajes? The answer, B. No los vamos. No los vamos a confirmar. Los refers to pasajes. All right? If you have any questions about any of the material I covered in this section, please let me know in the forum. I'll be more than happy to answer your questions there.